All right, I just hung up the phone with my one of my other brothers, and I just had such a beautiful conversation with him. And the whole point of my channel is just to start off in a way that what I've realized with that conversation is I need to grab your attention quickly, or I'm not gonna, despite all the great shit that's going about to go down, that you might leave early if I don't grab your attention. Um, that connecting with somebody is like the most beautiful thing that you can have. And I have been a person who wouldn't try, and I've been afraid of everybody, even my family, even this brother that I just talked to. Like, I've just been ashamed of some of the things that I've done, and I've hid it from him too. And I haven't shown him everything, but I just had a conversation where I told him about the concept of this page, and I played a message for him, and he thought it was. I think he was a little moved by some of the things that I said, and I think for a moment we kind of glimpsed, together a better future for me than the one that I've had, and a future where we can also be together more than I've allowed us to be. Even just like it's so worth to connect with somebody and to just take the chance because before I told him, I was still a little afraid. Like I've been worried about what people will think about this, um, including the people that are really close to me. Um, that's my brother. I've known him fucking from day one. I love that guy, um, and he loves me. And but I've still felt some shame with regards to the way I live my life, and even with that close relationship, I still couldn't avoid negative emotion and negative thought. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you don't need to, because when I talked to him, he accepted me and he loved it. He thought it was so great. He thought it was funny, and there are some concerns, and he did express some of those, and you know, I still have to, deal with the idea that I've talked about of doubting versus being in faith. I'm gonna still be in faith, and I want to get to 100% on it. But just when you have that moment, like generally, I just felt so much love for him, and he felt, I could feel his love for me. Um, that it's so beautiful, it's so woo woo. But hey, fuck it, man. Life's over, then you die. Ball up top. Just have it. If you're a person, because that's who I feel like I need to speak to, is the people that are alone right now. Um, somebody out there is alone, and somewhere they feel alone. They're in a crowd, and they just don't. Somebody's like me out there, and I want you to know that you're not alone. That you don't have to be. If you reach out to somebody, um, that they will reach back. It's inevitable. Just keep. You do have to try. It's not always going to be perfect. There's going to be moments, and dealing with people is hard. You're going to say something that offends them, and you didn't mean to, or you're going to say something that offends them and you meant to, and that's part of being human too. Um, that being with people is hard. Being alone, I've called it peaceful, and I think that a lot of people online have talked about it being peaceful. Because there is a solitude, and the idea that when I come home from work, that nobody was there to bother me, but there was also nobody there to comfort me. Um, so being alone, you might start to feel the comfort of it, or convince yourself that it's comforting, and it is. Like that feeling that you have is also real, because some people also need that. For whatever it's worth, I think I did need the feeling of peace in the time that I was, not having anything other than that, and probably some mild depression too. Uh, but the point is connecting feels so much better. Um, Tell them you love them. Tell them what's going on, and even some of the scarier, dirtier thoughts. I really feel like the more he saw me, even though he knows me pretty good, but it's just I'm just so unknowable in so many ways, because I really just never let it come out to the surface, and I'm still not showing it fully. You're not seeing 100%, but I think you're seeing the real, true enough core of me to say that this is pretty much who I am. But Anyway, I want you to know that if you're feeling alone, and that the fear that you feel when you first reach out to connect, and the relief that you'll probably feel, like, let's just say it's 90% of the time. There's going to be some bad experiences when you deal with people. But, like, really, if you just let them go, forgive them almost criminally, and forgive yourself criminally, because you're going to embarrass yourself. You're going to say something dumb. You're going to put your foot in mouth. And that's all you're going to think about. I didn't have very much social connection. So when I was living my life the way I lived it, all I felt was fear and anxiety about the little things that I would do. If I would find myself make a joke that didn't land in the workplace, that's all I thought about for, ever. And it would make you hesitant to do it. And I would be slow to open up to people when I worked with them, although some of them would, again, people will know me if they heard my voice and they've worked with me in the past. Like, I think you'll recognize me. But I was always pretty slow to open up even to those people. And that's a shame, because that's also, a fucking worthwhile relationship. I think that, every life is valid, and the people that work at, fast food, and they have all these inside jokes as they're fucking cooking it up in the grill and shit. Like, imagine a workplace where that didn't happen and people were just they just come into work and they get the job done and they go home. And that 8 hours is just kind of a numb experience. I think that, we can really make this stuff enjoyable for each other. Just by, having these moments throughout the day that you connect to the people that whoever you're around is who you're around. You might as well enjoy their company. And I hope that you choose to be around more people. So if you're alone and you want to reach out to somebody, pick up the phone and call them. It felt so much better to connect with him, because I've been afraid of that first phone call. I knew it was coming, or that it ought to happen. You ought to call the people. If you're in my position, you're starting to start the process of opening yourself up to people. They're the real people that you might not, hopefully this is how most people do it, is they just call their mom and call their brother and, and call their friend and just kind of fucking forgive them or whatever needs to happen, that whatever's kind of keeping you apart, that you just decide that it's not worth it, and being together so much better, and you just pursue that. Having the courage to do that, it was so worth it to me, because connection feels so good. And being alone is, you might be able to tolerate it, and it's honestly not so bad. But connection, I just feel like it feels so much better, and try and get you some.